Hello and welcome to your Portrait Signature Yoga experience. My name is Amber Kelsey and I will be guiding you through Portrait Restorative, a practice rooted in the art of stillness, the power of the breath, and the virtue of release. So we'll get started in a comfortable seated position. You can come into full lotus if you want to. If you need to utilize some props to feel more secure in the posture, go for it. So once you come to your seat, go ahead and draw the shoulder tips back, elevating the heart center, softening the face, and gently closing the eyes. We'll take a moment to get rooted in stillness. And before we do that, we'll do a slight rotation of consciousness whereby I'll guide you from the crown of the head all the way down into the seat with the intention of softening the body. So let us begin by bringing awareness to the crown and just softening through the crown. Noticing if there's any tension in the forehead, the temples, the cheekbones, the jawline. Unhinging the jaw if it's clenched. Resting the tongue on the roof of the mouth, softening through the throat, the heart center, the belly, the side waist. Noticing if there's any point of tension and just giving that area permission to release. Dropping into the seat, grounding through the thighs, the calves, the ankles, and the feet. Just allowing gravity to work on your behalf as you allow the body to soften, softening into stillness. Now begin to guide awareness to the breath. And just taking a moment to notice the sensation of the inhale, the sensation of the exhale. And we're going to engage in a few rounds of coherent breathing. So we'll calibrate the breath to a count of 5 in order to bring the body and mind into a state of coherence. So we'll start by inhaling through the nose for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then releasing for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, receiving the breath, 2, 3, 4, 5, and releasing the breath, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just noticing the steady rhythm as we welcome the breath, this beautiful animating force, sending it all the way into our belly, and then consciously surrendering it back out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, inhale. Rather than taking the breath, really consider receiving it, right? The breath as an offering, as a form of psychic medicine, allowing it to vitalize the cells, still the mind, and then releasing it back out. And just making this breath circular, so smoothing out any edges, allowing the breath to breathe you. The breath is the only autonomic function that we can harness and manipulate. And in doing so, we affect the entire orchestration of the body. So it's this really beautiful way of calibrating the body back into a state of balance. the mind tends to wander, just anchor it back to the breath, right? The steadiness, the solidity of the breath breathing you. Beautiful. So go ahead and release the breath, bringing the hands together in Namaskar, hovering them just over the heart center, and just taking a moment to set an intention for our time spent together today. Perhaps it's for the cultivation of more presence or peace. Maybe it's for joy, incorporating more joy into our life, more levity. Maybe it's trust. Whatever it is, whatever comes up, just honoring that impulse, guiding it into the heart center, and allowing it to be so. And then bowing head to heart, surrendering the mind to the seat of compassion, and then gently opening the eyes. Beautiful. So we're going to get started on our backs in a posture called Triple Diamond Mudra. A mudra is a shape, essentially, that we're going to bring our body into, right? A psychic gesture. And in Triple Diamond, what we're going to do is bring the soles of the feet together. Go ahead and rotate the pelvis down so that the sacrum tucks, the pubic bone comes up. This is going to help elongate the lower spine. Coming onto the forearms, and then eventually resting in the supine position, so coming onto the back body, and then bringing the forefinger and thumb to touch and resting that just over the head. All right, so it's a triple diamond because we have the diamond over the crown, we have the diamond between the elbows, and then the diamond between the knees. Tucking the chin slightly so as to bring length into the cervical spine, and again closing the eyes and finding that steady rhythm of breath. So we will take this posture in the yin tradition, all right, whereby we remain muscularly disengaged. So the practice is simply to soften, to surrender to gravity, to allow the weight of the body to melt into the mat, and to make conscious contact with that steady rhythm of breath. Notice where you might be feeling sensation. It might be the hip flexors or the knees. Be sure to determine between discomfort and pain. If something feels sharp or painful, come out of the posture. If it's mildly uncomfortable, work with it. Use the breath. Send the breath into that discomfort. All right? If you need to use props like pillows and rest them under the thighs, that might be helpful. Whatever serves. Again, notice if you're holding any tension in the forehead, the jaw, giving those regions permission to release. Right? This is a practice of steadiness. And we use the breath to keep us steady, right? Even in the sensation. One of the elements that we have to contend with in this posture is time. Notice if the mind begins to resist this, right? If it's eager to get out of the pose. Notice the tendency of thought. Just practicing a subtle witnessing. And continuously guiding awareness back to the breath. That's going to keep you steady in the pose. That's going to keep you rooted. And using the breath to regulate sensation. Notice if that sensation is shifting, where it's going. Not indulging it, not avoiding it, just staying present. One more cycle of breath, deep inhale through the nose, and again releasing it out the nose. Go ahead and release the arms down, using the hands to guide the inseams of the legs together. Should feel really good coming out of the pose. Make these transitions smooth, and then rocking the knees from right to left. And eventually bringing the right ankle to rest on the left knee. So before we come into the full expression of the pose, go ahead and take your right hand and gently push the thigh away from you. All right, that might be enough for you. That might be enough sensation to work with. If so, stay here. If you'd like to come into a deeper expression of the pose, go ahead and release the left foot off the mat, interlacing your hands behind the left knee. Now, rather than crowding the center line of the body, release the elbows toward the side waist and gently start to hinge that knee toward the heart center. All right, so rather than bringing it to the left armpit, you're going to bring it to the heart center. Again, dropping the chin toward the chest to bring length into the cervical spine. And breathe. A lot of sensation in the posture. A lot of sensation through that right hip flexor, through the knee. Softening again the face, the cheeks. Softening the breath and just staying present with whatever is coming up. So we'll stay here for a few more breath cycles. Try and determine what your edge is. In other words, that sweet spot whereby it's pleasantly uncomfortable. All right, for some of us, we might overindulge our edge, especially if we have a competitive mindset, right? We're going to take it too far. For some of us, we might not take it far enough. So play with it. Use the breath, right, as your vehicle to determine what degree is in your best interest. And then soften. Okay, so releasing that left foot, we're going to slide the right leg up and over so that we're crossing the knees. And then we're going to guide the knees all the way over to the left, coming into a spinal twist. Again, if you need a bolster or a pillow here, use whatever props are available to keep you supported in the pose. The head is going to turn to the right, and the right arm is going to extend long. Ideally, you rotate the palm down, or you can take a different hand gesture called cactus arm and bring the hand up. The goal here is not to fidget. Again, rooting in stillness and using your breath as your vehicle. If this posture is too intense, you can always stack the knees, bring the left leg long, find whatever version suits you. The torso is rotating around the spine. And again, the right hand and arm release toward the earth. The head rotates right, face is soft, and just finding that sweet spot. Now, in these spinal twists, often we truncate the breath. What do I mean by that? We stop sending the breath all the way into the belly, right? It's more of a thoracic breath. What I want you to do is send that breath deep, even into that contracted, constricted space. It's going to take a bit more intention to get it there, right? More discipline. But by guiding that breath into the belly, we're going to create more space to work with. Right? So we inhale length, lengthening through the spine, lengthening through the side waist. And then as we exhale, we move into that space. Okay. Preparing to come out of the pose, we'll release the head upright, releasing that right arm down, unraveling the leg. You can take the feet wide and bring the knees to touch. That might feel really good for the lower back. Or you can simply rock the knees from right to left. And we'll prepare to do all of that on the left side. So again, bringing that left ankle to rest on the right knee, sending that left thigh away from you. Determining if that's enough. If you want to go deeper into the pose, taking your hands, interlacing them under the right knee, dropping the elbows to the side waist, tucking the chin ever so slightly, and then slowly, slowly hinging the knee toward the center line of the body. Breathe. Staying present with the sensation. Steadying the breath, making it soft, making it fluid. And rather than taking a deep breath, consider a long, slow breath. This is going to help you work with the intensity of the pose. Slow and long. Try to release the shoulders into the mat. Again, allowing gravity to work on your behalf. Noticing the sensation along the left hip flexor and guiding that breath into that region. Softening the forehead, relaxing the jaw. Beautiful. And go ahead and release that right foot toward the mat, sliding the left leg up and over, and then dropping the knees over to the right, coming into our spinal twist, rotating the torso around the spine as we guide the left arm long, turning the gaze to the left, rotating the palm down, and if you'd like, staying there or bending at the elbow. Whatever version suits you. Now the sensation on this side might be completely different than it was on the right. Each hemisphere of the body is going to speak to us differently, so just honoring whatever comes up. You might feel it more in the shoulder. You might feel it more in the hip flexor. Again, assuaging any discomfort with the quality of your breath. Right? Training the body back into a place of safety by calibrating the breath, creating coherence. And again, noticing the tendency of the mind. Where is it going? Is it trying to avoid the sensation? Right? By getting too far ahead of itself, projecting into the future, maybe ruminating in the past. If so, just bring it to the present moment, right? The eternal now. By noticing the subtle ebb and flow, the inhale, the exhale, the expansion and release. sending that breath into the belly. Even if it feels a bit constricted, guide it all the way down there, creating more and more space in which to work with. Alrighty. Gently coming out of the pose, make these transitions slowly, all right? Begin with the head, releasing the arm down, and then using the arms to guide the legs up. Lifting that left leg off the right, bringing the knees to touch. You might want to shimmy the bum a little bit, and then just gently rocking the knees from right to left. And then eventually giving yourself a hug, crossing at the ankles, and rocking the body upright. Okay. So we're going to again meet in a comfortable cross-legged position. Go ahead and draw the shoulders up, back, and down. And then what I want you to do is bring your hands behind you, interlacing them, drawing them away from you, really opening up through those shoulder tips, the chest strips, opening up the heart center, drawing the navel toward the spine so as to support the lumbar, and then gently gazing over the right shoulder. Breathe. Bringing the gaze back to center, and then guiding the head over to the left. And again, back to center. Now from here, what you're going to do is bend the elbows and bring the knuckles all the way over to the right, and drawing that elbow away from me. All right, inhale, length into the spine, and on the exhale, we're going to drop the left ear toward the left shoulder. Avoid collapsing the spine by elevating the heart center, intentionally drawing the navel inward. That's going to keep you nice and firm. And just breathing length into the right side of the neck, really intending the crown of the head away from the right elbow. Softening. Staying here for a few breath cycles. And then as we come out of this pose, it's important that we do so intentionally. And we're going to use the core. So go ahead, activate the core, getting nice and firm, and use that activation to guide the head upright and releasing the arms behind you. And this time drawing the knuckles up and over to the left, again sending that elbow away. Inhaling length and dropping the crown of the head this time up and over to the right. It's probably going to feel different on one side of the body, right? Depending on if you're right-handed or left, what you favor. You're going to notice that intensity slightly different. Keep the face soft. Smile, it might help. Keep the heart open. And then again, coming out of it, using the strength of the core, activating it as you guide the head upright. Releasing the arms behind you. And just floating the hands down onto the knees. And again, a few shoulder rotations. Beautiful. So from here, we're going to rock the body up and over onto all fours. So as we come onto all fours, it's important that you stack the wrist under the elbow under the shoulder. All right? That middle finger points forward, and we're going to activate the arms. Staying nice and strong through the arms, nice and wide through the shoulder tips. And then the knee stacks under the hip. We're going to come into a few rounds of cat-cow. So on the inhale, dropping the belly, lifting the chin, elevating the sit bones, and on the exhale, rounding the spine, intending the pubic bone toward the forehead, rounding the spine, and inhale, lifting the chin, lifting the sit bones, drawing those shoulder tip back, heart open. Exhale, rounding the spine, hugging the heart with the rib cage, really exaggerating the motion. Inhale, opening through that fifth chakra, the throat center. Exhale, round, bringing flexibility into the spine. The spine is intricate and elegant by design. It's important that we keep it flexible. Flexible spine, flexible mind. Inhale. Exhale. A few more rounds. Inhale. And exhale. One more. Inhale. Really sending those sit bones high, drawing that chin upright, and exhale. Rounding the spine, hugging the heart with the rib cage, and coming back to a neutral spine. So we're going to take the left hand up to 12 o'clock, and we're going to inhale the right hand open, really sending that thumb back. And from here, we're going to slide that hand, palm facing upright, under the left hand, and just sending the seat toward the knees, threading the needle. Now, it might be helpful to take the knees slightly wider, so coming into a wide leg child's pose. And then just resting on the right side of the face. Again, the gaze can be soft, the eyes can be closed, whatever serves you in the posture. You're going to feel a lot of sensation through the hips and the knees. If you need some support, grab some pillows. And again, once you find that edge, consciously drop into stillness. Avoid fidgeting. Noticing the steady rhythm of the breath. This is a beautiful opener for the right shoulder, the neck, the ankles, the armpit. Surrendering to stillness, allowing gravity to work on your behalf. Again, determining what feels uncomfortable versus what might be painful. We want to avoid pain. If something feels sharp or painful, please come out of the pose. It's important that you listen to your body. The body contains so much intelligence. Stay steady. Stay present. Allowing your energy to ground. Beautiful. And as we prepare to come out of the pose, rotate the head first, slide that right arm out. Bringing the knees, hips distance, and again, just moving through a few rounds of cat-cow. Coming to a neutral spine. In this time, bringing the right hand to 12 o'clock, inhaling the left arm open and sliding that hand underneath the right arm, dropping the hips back, rotating the head to the right. And if you prefer to take the knees wide, go for it. Whatever version suits you. Getting heavy in the pose. Slipping into stillness. Really shifting from a place of doing to the art of being. Being present for yourself. Present with the breath, right? This beautiful sustainer of life. The poet Mark Nepo says, "In release, I begin. In release, I begin." And then he says, "I am no longer searching. I am just opening." Just allowing the body to open. Allowing your energy to ground. And then as we transition, rotating the head first, sliding that arm out. Coming back up onto all fours. Rotating the hips right to left, rotating the shoulders, taking whatever movement feels most supportive, most nourishing. Great, and walking the hands toward the knees. And coming back onto our seat. So we're going to move into a sequence that in the Yin tradition we call shoelace. So what we're going to do is take the left leg and bend it, and then bring the right leg all the way over and bend at the knee as well. Now, if this provokes too much sensation, you can always keep the left leg long. Okay? So find what version suits. You can also place a pillow under the right knee if that's helpful. But essentially what we're trying to do is bring the legs toward the center line of the body. All right? So bridging that symmetry, bringing everything to center. Opening up through the shoulder tips. Elevating the heart center. And on the inhale, we're going to draw the arms up. And on the exhale, we're going to hinge forward. Again, avoid collapsing the spine. Lead with the heart. All right, it might help to release the hands and gently walk the fingertips forward and find that edge. All right, so for me, it's right about here. I'm feeling a lot of sensation through the right hip flexor. If you have the flexibility and you want to come even further down, you can come onto the forearms. But once you've found that sweet spot, go ahead and surrender into the pose. It might help to close the eyes. But again, avoiding the tendency to fidget and to move. Just dropping into stillness. Try and keep the toes relaxed. keep the face relaxed. It's an intense pose. It might help to smile. Right? We don't have to get too serious in these poses. It's helpful to stay on the fingertips. Go for that. If just staying upright is enough, that's perfect too. Or slightly hinging the weight forward, whatever works for you. Find the version of the pose that feels most nourishing, most complete. Okay. All right, so as we transition out of the pose, we're going to come into a side angle on the left side. So again, the right leg is stacked over the left. We're going to release the left arm down and we're going to inhale the right arm up and over. This is a beautiful stretch for the right side waist, the armpit, and into the hip. Now, if it's too much to keep the arm hovering above, you can always release the hand behind you. All right, that might feel even better because that allows the shoulder tip to rotate back, again, keeping the heart open. If you have the flexibility, I encourage you to come onto the forearm and gazes up. So again, you can either bring the arm up and over or releasing the hand behind you and breathe. What tends to happen in these more challenging poses is we forget to breathe. Right? And once we stop breathing, we stop doing yoga. The breath is your vehicle. It's the most important component of the entire practice. And release, I begin. That's the virtue of the exhale. Right? It provides the opportunity for the inhale to begin again. The breath, the two beautiful bookends of our life. Right? We inhale upon arrival, and we exhale upon departure. So bringing a sense of reverence to your breath. This beautiful cycle that supports life, that keeps us animated, vital, strong. Okay, gently coming out of the pose. Coming up and over to the right now, right? Just countering that side angle. And then back to center. So we're going to prepare for a spinal twist here. Go ahead and bring the right foot onto the mat, all right, flat, drawing the knee up toward the heart center. What you're going to do is inhale the left arm up, rotate the torso around the spine, and hook that left elbow on the outside of the right knee. And then eventually start to guide the torso up and over to the right, gazing behind you. It might be helpful to drop the hand and using that relationship between the hand and the foot to help bring further rotation into the torso. Now here on the inhale, we're going to lengthen. All right, so we're going to inhale length, drawing the crown of the head upward, and exhale, rotate. Again, inhale length, exhale rotate. One more time, inhale length, and exhale rotate. Remember to send that breath into the belly, particularly on these spinal twists. It's so nourishing for your internal organs, particularly the organs of digestion. Staying here for a few more breath cycles. Neck is long, elegant. Really honoring the integrity of the spine here. Okay, and to come out of the pose, we'll release the head first. And then walking everything up and over to the left for a counter twist. Super important. I'm preparing for the opposite side. So go ahead and take the feet in front of you. Just shake them out for a second. And this time, we're going to bend the right foot, bringing the knee to center, and the left leg on top. Again, if this is too much, you can keep that right leg long. You can add a pillow, but intentionally drawing the legs toward the center line of the body. Again, avoid collapsing the spine. When we get tired in these poses, this is what we tend to do. And the easiest way of counteracting that is keeping the heart lifted. And what happens when we lift the heart, by nature, the shoulder tips draw back and the navel intends toward the spine. Okay, so we'll come into a forward fold. So again, inhaling the arms up, exhale, bow. Right, bowing to yourself, bowing to your practice. You can release the hands, find that sweet spot, that edge, and then marinate. Use the breath. The breath is your vehicle. It'll help you manage the intensity of the posture. If you want to come onto the forearms, go for it. But again, respect the feedback that you're getting from the body. If you notice that your breath is getting truncated, if it's shortening, if it's contracted, constricted, it means you got to back off. It's too much. If the brow starts to furrow or the jaw clench, that's also information, right? So keep checking in. Respect what's coming up. It's always there on your behalf, right? So long as we take the time to listen. Okay, walking the hands back, and then bringing the right arm long, and inhaling the left arm up and over. Feeling this through the left hip flexor, the left side waist, the armpit. Gaze is up, and if you want, you can come onto the forearm. That's going to make it slightly more intense. Work with that, use your breath. And if you prefer to release the hand behind you, go for it. Intentionally drawing that left shoulder tip back, right? Rotating the heart open. Gaze is soft. Neck is long. Sending that breath into the belly. Throughout our yoga practice, we're using a breath called Ujjayi. It's an oceanic breath, right? It's steady, it's rhythmic, it has force. And this type of breathing is deeply cathartic. Powerful like the ocean, Ujjayi, oceanic. Again, notice what the toes are doing. Are they clenching? Are they holding on for dear life? Give them permission to soften. All right, releasing the head, sliding the weight of the body up, coming up and over to the left for a little counter twist, counter stretch. And back to center. Preparing for our spinal twist. Releasing that left foot so that it's planted firmly on the outside of the right knee. Spine long, inhaling the right arm up and over, hooking the right elbow on the outside of the left knee, and using that connection, right, between knee and elbow to rotate the torso. Inhaling length, exhale, rotate. If it's helpful to drop the hand and make that contact with the foot, go for it. Again, inhaling length, exhale, rotate. These movements can be micro gestures, right? The idea is that you're breathing space. And then you're rotating, you're moving into that space. So lengthening and rotating. Feeling deeply grounded through the seat, while at the same time elevating through the crown. Right, working on both planes, the horizontal and the vertical. Right, we must root to rise, so we're rooted in order to rise. We need a steady foundation. So use that breath, particularly the inhale, to ground you, to steady you. And then the exhale, to come deeper into the twist. And to come out of the pose, releasing the head first. And rotating the torso all the way up and over to the right this time, counter twisting again, super important for the health of the spine. And then releasing the legs, shaking them, maybe allowing the front body to just rest on the thighs for a moment. And preparing for Navasana, boat pose. So we're going to do some core work here. Go ahead and make sure that your sit bones are nicely grounded onto the mat. That might mean removing the flesh of the bum slightly back. All right, before we come into the pose, go ahead and lift the heart center. You can take your hands and slide them under the knees. And then you're just going to basically hinge back just a little bit as you bring the calves off the mat. All right, this might be enough. All right, it's a lot of work for the core. If it's too much, you can always just stay with the feet resting on the mat, right, and the spine long. Otherwise, go ahead and release the feet up. Try not to fidget. If you fall out of it, come right back into it. If you need to, you can rest the right foot for a moment, and then the left. But essentially what we're trying to do here is create heat in the belly, right? In yoga, this is called Agni, right? An inner fire. It helps keep us resilient and fortified, strong. It's our core, our center point. It's how we stay balanced. So intentionally creating this heat by building strength through the core right? Strength and stillness. Now, if you want, you can release the arms. If you want to go even further into the pose, you can straighten the legs, draw the thumbs back. It's a lot. Take whatever version feels good. Allowing yourself to be challenged. And again, trying not to fidget too much in the pose. Beautiful. Coming out of the pose, and again, just resting the front body onto the thighs. Okay. So from here, we're going to come into butterfly pose, and I will face you for this. So you're going to bring the soles of the feet together. Now there's two versions. You can take the heels further away from you, similar to what we did in Triple Diamond Mudra, or you can draw them closer to the pelvic floor. And what we're going to do here is we're going to come into a slight back bend, okay? So you're going to bring your hands behind you. In fact, I'll rotate this way so you can see me better. So bringing the hands behind you, rotating the palms so that the fingertips face the bum, and just resting the hands there. Now, draw the elbows together and really open up through the heart. Right, this is a beautiful stretch, a beautiful asana, a beautiful posture to bring length into this region of the body, these chest strips. All right, so really breathing length into the upper torso, through the shoulders. Chin is slightly elevated. And then gently guiding the chin over to the right. Over to the left. Back to center. And then slowly, slowly peeling the hands off the mat. Good. Bringing them together, interlacing them, sending the palms away from you, this time rounding the spine. Inhale. Sighing the breath out one more time. And preparing for our forward fold. So inhaling length, and again, hinging from the waist, leading with the heart, coming forward. If you want, you can stack some pillows here, and then eventually coming to rest. So we bring length before we surrender into the pose. All right, and then coming to rest. You can rest your forehead on your hands. If you want to bring the palms together in Namaskar and release them behind the neck, you can do that too, and rest the forehead and the feet. Again, it just depends on how much flexibility you have in the hips. If it's more helpful to stack some pillows and just rest on the pillows, go for that too. All right, whatever feels most supportive. Allowing gravity to work on your behalf, just getting heavy in the pose. Slipping into the silence. And just honoring whatever is coming up. Whether it's a sensation, an emotion, even if it's something uncomfortable. Just meeting it with tenderness. Meeting it with tenderness. Not sending it away, but rather staying present. If we can stay steady, if we can stay present, if we can stay kind and tender with our discomfort on the mat, then we're much more equipped to bring those same virtues, that same presence of mind to our discomforts off the mat, becoming less reactive, less triggered, less defensive. And that's the beauty of a consistent yoga practice, right? What we gain on the mat, we take into our life when we step off of it. And it all begins with the quality of our breath. Okay. So coming out of the pose, inhaling the inseams of the legs to touch. It's a lot of sensation. Rocking right to left. And preparing for our last posture, happy baby. We want to end with joy, with levity, lest we become too serious. So coming onto the forearms, again, tucking the pelvis so that the lower portion of the spine, the lumbar, is nice and long. Bringing the tops of the thighs toward the front body. Tucking the chin ever so slightly so that the back of the neck, the cervical spine, is long. And to come into this posture, what I like to do is take my peace fingers, open up the legs, and grab the toes. Now what we want to avoid in this pose is congesting the center line of the body, right? This is a heart opening pose, so we avoid that by bringing the elbows wide and splaying the feet open. Okay, you can also grip the outer edge of the feet if that's helpful. If it's too much to take either of these versions, just bring your hands to the back of the knees. And again, surrendering into stillness. Taking a soft gaze. I like to close my eyes in this pose. So happy baby demands a robust vulnerability, right? What does that mean for you? Can you use your vulnerability as a way of staying empowered, heart-centered, patient and kind? These postures are ancient teachings that help us to become better humans. They're more than just slipping into these funny shapes. They're teachers in the art of presence, stillness, quietude, strength, tolerance. The Bhagavad Gita states that yoga is the practice of learning to tolerate the consequences of being yourself. Yoga is the practice of tolerating the consequences of being yourself. Choice, consequence. Where am I? Right? In order to heal, we must take 100% responsibility for our lives. But in order to do so, we must learn to become tolerant with ourselves. What does that mean? We must learn compassion. The Buddha says that compassion that does not include the self is incomplete. Compassion that does not include the self is incomplete. Okay, so coming out of the pose, we're going to release the feet toward the bum. Draw everything toward the center line. Give yourself one big last hug. And then coming into Shavasana, well-earned, corpse pose. Right, a posture that signifies rebirth, right? Dying to the old in order to be born into the new. Taking whatever version serves. If you want to bring the palms open along the side body, go for it. Sometimes I like to rest my right hand on my heart, left hand on the belly. Right, that contact feels nurturing. And just taking Shavasana as an opportunity to marinate in all that beautiful prana, that life energy that you've released and activated, decongested, in all of the postures that preceded this one. Allowing that prana to amplify. To harmonize. And to serve. Namely in your own healing. Shavasana is the synthesis of all the preceding postures. It's the perfect endpoint. It's like the knot at the end of a strand of pearls. It just brings it all together. And in your own time and when you're ready, you can come to lie on the side body in the fetal position. Right, our very first yoga posture in our mother's womb. And if you prefer to just stay here and rest, go for it. Right, no need to rush the motion. Otherwise, you can press yourself up to seated, coming back into a comfortable cross-legged position. Resting the palms upright, you can bring thumb and forefinger to touch in Chin Mudra. This signifies the interconnectedness of all of life. All of life breathing together. And in closing, we bring our hands together in Namaskar, remembering our intention. And inviting deep, deep gratitude for this opportunity to meet together in this beautiful space, committed to healing and wellness. Namaste.